Welcome to VIA Media, Canada's top black media provider. Whether you're looking for content on fashion, art, music, or stable lifestyle, we bring you the best the black community in Ottawa has to offer, and so much more. And better yet, do you have a project you need help with? Well, look no further. We provide equipment, studio, and office space, as well as a team of dedicated individuals to help you bring those ideas to life. So don't wait. Check out our new website at biamedia.ca for more information on how to contact us and start creating today. BIA Media, your way.
All right, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our final session in our seminar on the Haitian Independence and Haitian Revolution as an all-African revolution. By the time we get finished today, we'll really hit this thing hard because everything that we talk about and everything that we've talked about since December has, I always look at Haiti as almost a case study and a preview of things that you're going to see in the rest of the African world. So when we talk about from 2010 to the present today, I want us to also reflect on the rest of the African world as we talk about the events that have transpired up to this point in Haiti for the past 14 years, because we'll see a lot of similarities. And Haiti, again, it almost provides us a preview. So what works in Haiti can be modified, altered, and applied to other cases in the African world. And some of the tactics that have been used by the enemies of Haitian development have used the same tactics in the rest of the African world. So we're gonna see some of these tactics. But this time period that we're getting into today, this one is slightly different. This actually takes us back to before independence. Because I would argue, and we'll talk about it today, that since 2010, I don't think even during the period of the Duvalier years, there has been a period in Haitian history where more outside control has been inflicted on this country than before. Not since independence was attained has foreigners been able to control what's been going on in Haiti and the destiny of the Haitian people. So this is the current state of the Haitian Revolution that we're going to talk about, because as we remember, going back to what we talked about in December, the Haitian Revolution is unfinished. It's not a finished revolution. Independence, January 1st, 1804, did not finish the Haitian Revolution. It's continuing. The Haitian people are continuing to struggle, continuing to better control their political, economic, and social destiny. So we'll talk about what's happened since 2010. Again, let's situate ourselves geographically. We are right here in the Caribbean, Haiti, Dominican Republic on the eastern side of the same island. So just to get ourselves situated. We stopped last class talking about the earthquake, the devastating earthquake in 2010. Killed an estimated 250 to 300,000 people dead in this earthquake. And those are the official, there's probably more that, aren't necessarily accounted for. But the damage that this earthquake did physically to Haiti and the loss of life associated with was an opportunity for many folks to go ahead and take advantage of this situation in a country that was in desperate need of assistance. Folks coming in with sheep's clothing, wolves in sheep's clothing, saying they're going to offer assistance, essentially for some time took over the country in a way that they would have never been able to take over the country had this natural disaster not happened and had certain elites in the country not allowed it to happen. So let's get into it. I want to start with this. This is a quote from Margaret Prescott, who's an activist. She has worked in Haiti fighting for the type of development, sustainable development, and workers' rights and people's rights that we've been talking about. But what she says in this long quote, and I want to read the entire thing because it kind of sets the tone for the past 14 years. She says, in the United States, the left can get very confused about what's going on in Haiti. When she says the left, she's talking about people that are concerned with working class issues, human rights, that type of thing, what we think about as terms of progressives. Well, it's a complex situation because you have the powers that be, the United States, and its core group. We're going to mention that term a lot, the core group. The core group are these nations that have made it their business to control Haiti's political economic destiny. The United States is the leader of that group, but you also have France, you also have Canada. Brazil has played a role in this group. The European Union as a whole has played a role in this group. So we call this the core group. Running so many operations on the ground, and you have Haitians who perhaps are the Haitians who can afford to travel and have connections and so on, running around to the World Social Forum and places like that, giving the impression that they are the voice of Haiti in the movement. But if you scratch the surface of some of these people, you would see that they were involved, if not directly, then indirectly, in the coup against President Aristide. They tend to surface at particular moments in the struggle of the Haitian people. They come across with the right rhetoric or revolutionary language, but the people on the ground know very well who they are and really do not trust them. Rather than supporting the demands coming from the Haitian grassroots people themselves, they handpick which demands to support or not, and they handpick their leaders. But they create a lot of chaos and confusion. To me, this is just another level of imperialism, what I am calling the solidarity industrial complex, which you really see developing, bypassing the Haitian grassroots, propping up a selective group of people. Selected by whom? Who knows? They meet in the US embassy privately, they have all kinds of deals and money. This paragraph, I had to quote it in its entirety. This is from an interview that's been posted on our course website. This is why it is complex to talk about this period of what's going on in Haiti, because there is a lot of confusion. And if you really care about the Haitian people, you have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's what. Because there are so many groups with the right language, the right revolutionary rhetoric, as Prescott says, but you don't know if you're not in Haiti, if you don't speak Creole, if you're not on the ground, you don't know what's actually going on, who actually is to be trusted. You don't know if someone is a gang member and a brutalizer, but they're presenting themselves as a revolutionary, which is possible. We know that oftentimes in revolutionary struggles, people that were once police or military or maybe once criminals but have reformed themselves and they turn into some of the best revolutionaries. That has happened. But is that really the case? Or do these people know that, are taking advantage of that, presenting themselves as revolutionary and working class, but are parasites and are exploiting the masses? What is the truth? And the only way you can know the truth really is by interacting with folks that are on the ground that could tell you, no, this person has been leading death squads, and this person has been doing this and doing that, and they're not for the people. So you have to, tease those things out. And the media is really good at propping up certain people, saying certain things. And we're going to get into how language plays a key role in all this. Because we're going to talk about things like when you watch the news and you hear a report that such and such country is pledging $13 billion in aid to Haiti. And we watch the news and we're like, bravo, yes, that's beautiful. Finally, these countries are stepping up. But what does that really mean? What does that really mean, $13 billion in aid? Does that mean every Haitian gets a certain percentage in their personal bank account? Does that mean that there's oversight in how this money is spent and what projects it's actually for? We're going to talk about all that, because now you'll be able to dissect the media when you hear things like this, and you'll be able to dig a little bit deeper. So we always have to pay close attention and try to cut our way through the confusion, which is, like Prescott said, a tactic. When you can confuse people, when you get them frustrated, like, I don't even really know what's going on different, I'm not going to pay attention anymore, I'm just going to let it go. That's part of it. That's part of the tactic to make us forget Haiti, to make us see, well, it's just a failed state, let's let the international community do whatever they want to it, let's just wash our hands of it. It's not just Haiti this happens with. It happens with the Congo. It happens with Nigeria. It happens with Kenya. It happens with the slums in Brazil. It happens with so many places that African people are currently fighting for better life chances and life choices. So let's talk about that core group. So what happened after 2010? So the earthquake strikes, close to over 250,000 people dead in the earthquake, infrastructure destroyed, and now who comes to the so-called rescue? The core group, led by the United States. So you get images like this. You get Clinton and Bush walking around Haiti, taking photo ops, crying crocodile tears for Haitian people. Clinton always talked about how him and his wife in the 70s, they honeymooned in Haiti, and he has a special place in his heart for Haiti. Well, we're going to see the special place in the heart that Bill Clinton had for Haiti. But they come into Haiti and they say, this is devastating. We're going to help reconstruct things in Haiti. There's going to be billions of dollars of international aid. Regular people are going to send their money to organizations, and we're going to rebuild Haiti. No discussion of what happened in the years previous. The early 2000s, the coups, the upholding of dictatorship, the economic policies that we talked about last week and the week before that crippled the Haitian economy, that allowed for the devastation of the earthquake to be tenfold. Had the policies that we talked about in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s not been upheld, you wouldn't have had the overcrowding that you had in Port-au-Prince and some of these other areas. You wouldn't have had the corruption that led to buildings being structurally unsound, which led to the death of more people than the actual earthquake itself. So you have all these things happening. No talk about how Haiti got to that point, but now we have to come in and save Haiti, because obviously Haiti can't save itself. That's what the propaganda is. So you get Bush and you get Clinton down there and all these other groups. In addition to them, prior to the earthquake, after the coup the kidnapping of Aristide and the government is in turmoil, supposedly, the UN comes in, a UN mission, which is, again, really financed and orchestrated by the United States. They come in. Many of the soldiers in this force that's designed to uphold political order in Haiti, that's what they say. We're going to, stop the violence, and we're going to make things, safe for people to have elections and to go about their daily business. This was an international force. A lot of the troops were Brazilian. A lot of the troops came from other places around the world, Peru. And what happened when these UN troops came? No oversight, very little oversight. So you got rapes. A lot of these troops raped a number of Haitian people. Murders, extortion, all types of things with a quote-unquote peacekeeping troop coming in to Haiti. So the Haitian people despise the blue helmets of the UN because of what they represent. And not only that, after the earthquake, what it was found in reports, it was the UN troops that came in that were primarily responsible for a cholera outbreak that further crippled the country. So you get the earthquake, then you have the spread of cholera throughout the population, and it's widely believed that it's because of UN troops. I think it was a group from Nepal and partially a group from Brazil that brought in this cholera epidemic on top of the earthquake. So you got the UN troops extorting, raping, acting as death squads, doing these horrible things. You got the core group orchestrating all of this in the face of this. And on top of all of that, you still have meddling in elections in the government. So by the time we get to 2010, there is a parliamentary election and a presidential election, all overseen by this UN force, and there's a whole lot of irregularities till we get to the point that, and I just want to draw everybody's attention to this book. It's a good book, and I put the PDF on our website. It's called Disaster Capitalism, Making a Killing Out of a Catastrophe by Anthony Lowenstein. I was talking to somebody last week about this book. I was talking to Robin, and great text. It's a number of texts that expose what happens, and we're going to talk about these in a second. But I want to show one picture. Yes, this is the picture I wanted to show. So in 2010, there's an election in Haiti. 2011, actually. We'll go back to the beginning of 2010. And who's elected president of Haiti? You would think it was somebody with a lot of experience, somebody that has experience in development, experience in politics. No, it's Sweet Mickey. Sweet Mickey. Michel Martelly. He's an entertainer. He's a musician. He sings songs that you would not let your children listen to. It would be as if Luke Campbell, and I'm dating myself, as those of you who know who Luke is, it'd be as if Luke Campbell became president of the United States. This man gets elected with a small percentage of the Haitian people actually voting for him. In the actual election, I think it was something about 23% of eligible voters actually voted. And even with that 23%, I think less than half of them actually voted for him. He actually the first time didn't even qualify for the runoff, but the United States pushed it through. He gets put into the runoff, and then there's some other shenanigans happen, and he ends up becoming president of Haiti. So he's kind of like Trump before Trump, some political outsider that has said horrible things about women, that has, you know, presented himself with this gangster. You can go to YouTube, just type in Sweet Mickey videos. In fact, he still makes videos. He actually made a video when he was leaving the presidency, 2016, called, let me get the words right, Give Her the Banana or something like that. I got to double check that, that's the title, but what it sounds like is exactly what it is. This is who was president. So what did he do when he was president? Or let's just say this, he was the president on paper. Because who was really running the country for the first 2 years after the earthquake? The Interim Haiti Recovery Commission, which was composed of members of the core group. And this board that ran this, the leader of the board, the chairman of the board, essentially the real person who ran Haiti from 2010 to 2011 was Bill Clinton. 1804, January 1st, 1804, the Haitian revolutionaries Dessalines complete Haitian independence. And in 2010, so 206 years later, essentially, a non-elected white man is running the affairs of Haiti. Just let that sink in. A non-elected white man is running Haiti. Because what this commission, how it was set up, now on paper it's not going to say that. On paper it says, well, we have this commission and we got these billions of dollars coming into Haiti for recovery. So what we're going to do, the international community is going to form one half of the board. And then we're going to have the Haitian people represented by their government forming the other half of the board. And we're not going to make any decisions without the Haitian government giving us the okay. So we're going to create the structures. We're going to talk about how this money is going to be spent, what type of recovery plans are going to happen, what infrastructure is going to be built. And then we'll come up with the plans, and then we'll ask the Haitian president, is this okay? And the people on the board, if it's okay, and we'll give them 10 days to let us know if what we're doing is okay. That was just a rubber stamp. That was just a rubber stamp because they knew their hand-picked boy, Sweet Mickey, was going to do whatever the commission told them to do. So for 2 years, Bill Clinton ran Haiti. Like, I just want everybody to be very clear about that. So what did this commission do? Did this commission bring Haiti out of the devastation of the earthquake? Let's see what it did. One of the things that it did, it pushed through the building of the Curico garment industry complex. What they did in the northeastern part of the country, a lot of farmland, about 360 families of farmers working, developing, taking care of themselves. They get their land taken, and the state says, oh, we're going to reimburse you for the land. Because what we're going to build this massive industrial complex, and it's going to provide 60,000 jobs for Haitians working in this garment factory, and it's going to be great. So we're going to take you from your land, and now you know you're growing food, and you're sustaining yourself and your family and the people around you, but don't worry about all that. We're going to reimburse you. We might give you some land later, but we're going to build this complex. 66,000 jobs for Haitian people. Daniel, if you wouldn't mind, could you play that video dealing with this complex and what happened with it?
On January 12, 2010, Haiti was hit by a massive earthquake, which destroyed the homes and businesses of 1.5 million people. More than $9 billion were committed by international donors to help Haiti rebuild. The government declared Haiti open for business, and foreign companies were invited to set up shop. But the government's plans relied on enough land being available to house these projects. And with food supplies already stretched, farmers are being pushed off their land.
La question de terre en Haïti, c'est une bagaille qui est difficile. Oublier, qui veut dire, vous mettez fou la terre fait de l'hôpital, ils ont été pas fournis.
Là, nous nous rendons compte que nous avons fait Washington et que nous avons soulevé pour ça comme une problème que nous avons gagné. Parce que le ça, le gouvernement, Joseph Michel a fait monter et que nous avons pile représentant dans la salle. Donc, s'il vous plaît, faites l'État dans nos terrains pour nous mettre milieu parce que nous avons au moins retiré 160 familles dans la rue. Donc, nous n'avons pas dit rien, mais descendre pour John, le côté de la palais, mais il a passé côté de là-dedans, il est moins. Et puis nous disons, ça ne faut pas $1 million, ça et tout.
Donors have channeled funds to Haiti in order to facilitate land grabs. Specifically, the U.S. government, USAID, has pushed for the construction of the Caracol Industrial Park.
Dans le Caracol, nous voyons tout le monde qui l'a donné, tout c'est des gens qui ont plein. Nous visitons en dedans. Donc, tout building qui a construit, combien là-dedans qui fonctionnait?
Heavily backed by U.S. government funding, the Caracol Industrial Park was built, promising 65,000 jobs. Yet, today, only 4,500 people are working there.
It has employees getting paid about 200 goods a day, which is considered by all accounts just poverty wages. They're not enough to feed one person 3 square meals a day, let alone an entire family.
Donc, alors, de quel développement on parle? Il n'est pas pour le peuple haïtien. Donc, bénéfice là, en réalité, il n'est pas jamais pour Haïti.
The Caracol area is about 246 hectares of prime agricultural land that communities have relied upon for decades to feed their families, to earn a living and send their kids to school, to attend to their health needs, and that land was grabbed away from them in a matter of days from what they tell us, to build an industrial park, which is considered the flagship project of the reconstruction.
Terre Caracol là sont terres qui étaient pour nous responsables tout nord-nord-est, nos affaires, bananes, manger, etc. Que yo vin pour yo vin mettre béton sous lui là. Nous n'avons pas d'industriel là qui fait nous plus gros habits qui gagnent pour département nord-est. Parce que de l'autre côté, on a mettre pas d'industriel là qui est moins positif.
Non, parce que par là, nous avons passé sous le lit, nous avons passé. Ils mettent l'électricité à prix devant. Ce sont des terres. Depuis qu'il y a la pluie, de vous planter au marais, depuis que la pluie, c'est pour faire. Parce que c'est tellement vivant, nous poussons planter rapide. Mais c'est comme ça, moi, ça sont politique. Côté qui fait jardin, c'est là, on prend directement. Pour faire pas là.
Donc, Caracol, c'est quoi? Caracol, c'est juste une façon pour faire mon qui est riche, retourner d'une plus riche et puis ça plus pauvre d'une plus pauvre.
All right, thank you, Daniel. And I put that video up on our site. So you see this. This is what this book is discussing. The put it on the. So we're talking about this disaster capitalism. So what was that? What types of jobs are actually being created? $5 a day. $5 a day for less than a percentage of the population that they said would be able to work in this place. But this is just one example of the type of quote unquote development aid that this organization oversaw. And then when they handed over the development projects to the government, the types of things that were happening. Ports were supposed to be built. Billions of dollars were put in to build a new port in Haiti. That port has still yet to be built and is not going to be built. The U.S. aid, the development agency, development wing of the U.S. said after many years of just BSing, they finally just said, we don't have the expertise to actually do this, so we're just giving up on the project. Now you got to think, well, okay, we gave up on the project. Where's all that money going? Again, we have to go back to the language. We're going to give $9 billion in aid to Haiti. And all of us light up. Again, we think $9 billion is going to help people. It's going to buy a lot of food. It's going to build a lot of schools. What does it do? Well, USAID and the commission, they meet with capitalists, the people that run these businesses, the Walmarts and others, say, well, we'll have you build the factories. We'll have you do this, the garment district, and then we'll give Haitians jobs there. So essentially, all that money goes back to these big developers in the United States that get the contracts to go build the buildings, to build the roads, to build the infrastructure. So it goes to them first. These are people that are friends with the Clintons and friends with other people in government that own these businesses that go around the world, quote unquote, helping folks develop. So they get paid. Their boards of directors get paid. The actual contractors that do the work, that hire very few, if any, of the people that actually live in the area to do the construction. They bring in their own people. They have to get paid. Then you have the quote unquote charitable organizations. The worst probably being the Red Cross. The Red Cross raised $500 million for Haiti and built 6 houses. Not 6,000 houses, not 600 houses. They built 6 houses and they raised $500 million. Many regular, everyday working people saw the catastrophe of the earthquake. They saw the online petitions. They saw the commercials on TV, and they gave money, thinking that this money is going to help the Haitian people. What did the Red Cross do? The Red Cross is a huge international organization. So they take your donations, and they pay their board of directors. They pay the people that they might have on the ground in Haiti. And where are these people staying? In the most luxurious places that you can imagine. They're driving the most fancy cars. And all this is paid for by the money that was raised. So all of these people got to take their cut first. And what tiny percentage that goes to the Haitian people, they built 6 houses. They built 6 houses. This is disaster capitalism. People are getting rich because the money is going to contractors. It is going to big business that is not trickling it down to the Haitian people. So think about that next time you see a campaign. And think about, is this money really, and that's not saying never give, but when you give, you have to look to see who you're actually giving to and what they're actually going to do with the money. Is there transparency? Is there accountability? These types of things. Because in this situation, none. There was none. And that's not the word. And the Haitian people responded. They responded with protests. They protested against Sweet Mickey, President Martelly, and his handling of the economy and of politics. Because one of the ways he made sure he stayed in power, just the way so many other dictators stayed in power, he used violence. He used intimidation. He used the backing of the Obama administration, then later the Trump administration, to continue his exploits in Haiti. And I say the Obama administration because some of you still think that Obama's the second coming. And guess what? He, the Clintons, it goes beyond party politics in the United States. They're all agreed, Democrats, Republicans, whoever, they're all agreed that Haiti, other places in the African world, they're open for business. They're open for exploitation. So their cronies, their friends, their big business friends in the United States that have mineral interest in Haiti, that have mineral interest in the Congo, that have mineral interest in so many other places, that are interested in oil, that are interested in getting U.S. tax dollars and charitable funds to build things that the people didn't ask for. No one asked for the Clinton administration to come in and build this industrial park. People wanted agricultural investment. People wanted investment in schools and hospitals. No one asked for this. No one was consulted with this. You saw what the sister was saying, and when they went to the meeting in D.C., she said, we got a homeless problem. People need homes. They said, nah, we're going to build an industrial park. So this is the type of playbook that you see that happens to African people. So we always have to pay attention to this. And again, you see these images. You see Sweet Mickey smiling with Hillary Clinton, who was the Secretary of State at the time. So you got Bill Clinton, who's essentially the de facto president of Haiti. You got his wife, who's the Secretary of State. And you got USAID, which is the U.S. Development Agency, all running things, and the Haitian people are suffering. So you got essentially the military is the UN, controlled by the United States. The political control of the country is, at the top is the Clintons, And then you got Sweet Mickey acting as the face of this. And you have these elites in Haiti that are still benefiting from all this as well, because they also have their own developmental scams going on. Oh, I'm gonna help rebuild the country. No accountability about where that money went, still to this day. And the people, the working class people, the people that actually suffered, the people that continue to suffer, that have suffered, not just since 2010, but going back, continue to suffer. So they uprise and they protest, and the UN and the police forces that are controlled by Sweet Mickey and the elite attack these people. But they continue to struggle. Again, this is the face of the Haitian Revolution, the everyday working people that form groups that said, you know what, and no matter what types of hardships we face, we will continue to resist. We will continue to demand a government that's accountable to us, that's not elected by 23% of eligible voters. And even then, only half of them actually elected these people. We're dealing with a situation now in Haiti where there haven't been elections so long, the quote-unquote government in Haiti is not a government. They have not been elected by anybody. Their terms have expired, yet they're still there because elections can't be organized. So you have a president that is, we'll get into the assassination of Moise in a second, but you have a president that's unelected. You have the majority of the senators, parliamentarians. These people are not elected. So whenever you hear reports of the government in Haiti wants to do this, don't think in your mind that the people of Haiti have elected these people to represent them. They have not. You have to break down all of this context to make everything make sense. Do you understand that the everyday working people in Haiti have all of these obstacles and they're still continuing to fight and to struggle against it? And just like we're doing in this class, remembering history, the Haitian people remember their history. This is why even the elite and even the folks that are against the sustainable development of masses, they still have to invoke revolutionary slogans and sayings. They still have to invoke Dessalines and Toussaint and Moïse Louverture and the names of these figures, because they know it sits very present in the mind of the people of Haiti that they come from a revolutionary background. So even the corrupt have to give lip service to the revolution because history is that important. But what has happened in Haiti, you have to think, I just turned 37 years old in December. I was born in 1986, the same year that baby Doc left Haiti. His son, me and Nicholas Duvalier are the same age. There's a whole population of people in Haiti that had no idea what the Duvaliers did, that grew up out of that context. We have a whole population of people in Haiti that are born after the presidency of Aristide that don't necessarily know what happened and why that ended. You have a whole population of people in Haiti that have been born after the earthquake and this. And because of the lack of infrastructure, because of the lack of schools, a lot of this history is being lost. So you even have people in Haiti now that are seeing Nicolas Duvalier as a possible presidential candidate. We'll get into that toward the end of the class. But it's because of this disconnect. That's why we have to have these classes. But even with that disconnect, the people still remember the origin story of their country. 1804 is highly on the people's consciousness. So they continue to invoke Dessalines. They continue to invoke Toussaint Louverture in their rebellions against a corrupt elite and an unfunctioning state and the foreign interveners that hold it all up. So 2013, you had a string of popular uprisings. People were fed up with the conditions, and they fought back, and they fought against the police, and they fought against the UN forces that were there. And a lot of people lost their lives, and there was a lot of hardships going on. And then in all of this, fast forward a couple of years later, the 2013 riots, all the way up to 2016, the people forced, because Sweet Mickey was trying to give himself another term, the people forced him to you can't be president anymore. It's not going to work. So another election was held, and this is when Moise was elected president in 2016. So these uprisings did their job, because no more Sweet Mickey. And Sweet Mickey left office with a music video talking about, go give her the banana or whatever. So he's gone, not completely out the scene, because again, he took his billions of dollars that he stole during this time, being supported by the Clintons and these other folks in the Obama administration, and he's still living a good life. So this is how these people operate. They rob Haiti blind, they cripple or attempt to cripple the future of Haiti, and then they just go off into the sunset and act like nothing happened. And their children could live lives of luxury, like Nicolas Duvalier, who's now coming back to Haiti acting like he's some type of savior, even though he grew up in France living off the money that was stolen from the Haitian people in the 70s, 80s. Now he's trying to come back. So this is what we have to realize. But the people will always resist in the urban areas, in the rural areas. They fought, they organized workers' campaigns and women's campaigns and student campaigns, and they were eventually able to force Sweet Mickey pretty much out of power. But while all this is going on, there's another major scandal that breaks out. The Petro-Carib scandal. The Petro-Carib scandal. This takes some time to explain. And I'm going to go all the way through today. I'm not going to break in the middle because I want us to have a longer conversation toward the end. I'm going to leave more time open for that because this is contemporary. So a lot of us have information that we can all share and I can learn from anyone else. But let me talk about this real quick. The Petro-Carib scandal. Back in 2005, 2006, the president at the time of Venezuela. Now, Venezuela is the country in the world with the largest known oil reserves. They got more oil than Saudi Arabia. They got more oil than Iran, Iraq. They got more oil than Nigeria, Canada. The best oil is coming out of Venezuela. The president at the time of Venezuela was named Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez saw himself as a new version of the Fidel Castros in that spirit of Latin American solidarity, anti-imperialism, anti-capitalism, so on and so forth. So he decided one of the things that we need to have an alternative to all of this quote-unquote aid coming out of the United States and out of Western Europe that really just cripples our economies. So he says, I'm going to work with Cuba. I'm going to work with some of the other progressive governments in the region. This is the Evo Morales of Bolivia, the first indigenous president of Bolivia. This was Lula da Silva of Brazil, and some of the other folks, Correa and Ecuador. And they said, we're going to start something called the Bolivarian Alternative, named after Simon Bolivar. And we go back to beginning of our class. We talked about Simon Bolivar getting assistance from Haiti to help liberate the rest of South America. So Simon Bolivar has a lot of cachet in the revolutionary consciousness. So they call it the Bolivarian Alternative for Latin America. And they said, we're going to use Venezuela's oil money and we're going to support development projects in a way that's actual development. And one of the things that we're going to do, we're going to give countries that need it, particularly Haiti, low-cost oil and also development funds that they're not going to have to pay back for years. So here's how it actually broke down. They said, we're going to send you oil, and you only have to pay 60% of it up front. The other 40%, we're actually going to give you in aid, and you don't have to pay that back for 25 years, and then the interest will only be 1%. This is phenomenal when you really look at what aid looks like in other places, where the interest rate is incredibly high and it just cripples you, and there's strings attached to it. So the Venezuelans said, gonna give you as much oil as you need. You only have to pay 60% of it up front. The other 40%, we're actually gonna give you in terms of development funds. You spend this money for the people, to develop your country, to build infrastructure, schools, hotels. At the end of the day, this ended up being billions of dollars that went to the Haitian government. Fast forward to 2019, 2018, everybody's like, where's the money? Where's the where's the money? And then, because what really sparked this off, while this was happening, Haiti was raising the prices, the Haitian government was raising the prices of fuel. Fuel prices rose for the everyday people. And they're like, wait a minute, how are prices rising when we have this Petro-Carib understanding? And then we have to zoom out even further, because what has happened in Venezuela, Hugo Chavez dies, Maduro takes over. Maduro attempts to continue the policies of Chavez, but he's not as popular, he's not as charismatic. The United States is able to attack Venezuela in a way that it wasn't when Chavez was alive. So now Venezuela is under an embargo by the United States. That embargo affects the banking aspect of Venezuela's government. So Haiti can't pay for its oil from Venezuela anymore because the United States has blocked those transactions. So Haiti can't pay for the oil from Venezuela anymore, and it caused fuel prices to go up. But Haitian people say, okay, even if that's the case, where did the money go? The money that 40% that was supposed to go to fund schools and hospitals and roads electricity, indoor plumbing, housing. Where's all the money? It's unaccounted for. Nobody knows where these billions of dollars went. So the Senate of Haiti did a little bit of investigation. They actually did their job for once. They did their job. And they presented a report. And they found that all of these quote-unquote firms in Haiti that were supposed to be responsible for actually doing these projects, agricultural projects, infrastructure projects, no accountability. They have no reports. They have no progress. And one of the main leaders of one of these firms, particularly an agricultural project, was President Moise. Before he was president, he was one of the people found to be in charge of one of these businesses that essentially stole millions of dollars and produced nothing for the people from Petro-Carib. So this, in 2018, led to another popular uprising of the people. The people said enough is enough. We have and unleashed gangs on the people. And we got to be very clear when we talk about these gangs in Haiti. Because most of us, when we think about a gang, we think about, you know, a group of teenagers that get together, they call themselves Bloods and Crips, and you know, they might get their hands on some guns, might be involved in some drug trafficking. That's what we think about as a gang. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about ex-military, ex-police officers with guns that they got from the United States, guns that they got from the UN mission that eventually left, and heavily trained people that are using vulnerable youth that are hungry, youth that don't have education because there's no schools for them to go to because the government didn't invest in it. These youth from the countryside that are coming into the city looking for work. These are the people that are being preyed upon, and they're not organizing themselves. It's being organized by these ex-military, ex-police forces in order to sell their violence to the highest bidder of the elite. It says, well, we need you to go in this neighborhood. There's some supporters of my opposition in this neighborhood. We need you to go in there and silence these people. Use whatever terror methods you can use. Rape, murder, burning people alive, all of these things. So it's not, don't think of it as just unruly young people and doing us. And we're going to actually watch a video where one of them explains, one of the gang members is very clear about it. He said, where do you think we got these guns from? Like he looked like he's about 15, 16 years old. He's very clear. So that's what we say when we talk about these gangs. So he unleashed them on the population, but the people continued to fight. And eventually, he was assassinated. But his assassination wasn't something that was done by the people. And even though the people were uprising because he had attempted to extend his illegitimate term in office, so he was supposed to be out in February 2021, but he tried to finagle the thing and say, no, actually, I'm supposed to be done in February 2022. And the people said, no, we want you out now. We want fresh elections. We've been dealing with, and this is all in the context of COVID, again, which hit Haiti. This is in the context of this is right before another earthquake and a tropical storm in the same year. So there's a lot going on. But he actually is killed by other elites. Other elites get a death squad, mercenaries from Colombia, to come into Haiti, and they killed him. They shot up his house. His wife got shot up. His kids were in the house and all that. And it's, you know, all loss of life is sad, you know, but let's not forget about the lives that he extinguished by unleashing these terror squads on the people and doing these things. And even the slow deaths that so many people have suffered from as a result of these economic and social, political policies by these illegitimate governments. So even when all this is going on, again, the people still resisted. But one of the ways people resisted was just by leaving. People said, this government's not working for us. I need to support my family. So you had hundreds of thousands of Haitians that have left the country. And where did they go? Right after the hurricane, Brazil said, listen, we got a couple of big projects coming up. In 2014, we have the World Cup. In 2016, we have the Olympics. Haitians, come help us build the infrastructure that we need to house these major world events. We need new stadiums built, roads to lead to the stadiums. We need all this infrastructure built. We will bring in hundreds of thousands of Haitians to work in Brazil. So they get to Brazil, they do the work. They said estimated 85,000 Haitians immigrated to Brazil between 2010 and 2017. They get there, they do their jobs, they work, But in the process between 2010, 2017, and 2016, the same year that Trump gets elected, Brazil gets its own Trump with their president, Bolsonaro. And Bolsonaro used Trump's playbook. Incredibly racist, incredibly sexist, and blaming everything on immigrants. He said Haitian immigrants were the scum of the earth, and they're responsible for these problems in Brazil, and they're ostracized. So you do your job, you build these things, and now you find yourself in the same very similar slums that you found yourself in Haiti, in the favelas of Brazil. And we talked about favelas in other classes. So then you get people that say, okay, well, let's leave Brazil, let's go to Chile. A lot of people migrated to Chile. They get to Chile, find the same type of issues. It's a little bit better than Brazil, but some problems there in Chile as well. Darren, if you wouldn't mind playing that second video about the migrations into Chile.
These men and women make up part of the largest Haitian expat community in Latin America. After their country's 2010 earthquake, Chile opened its doors to tens of thousands of Haitians. But today, even as thousands of undocumented Venezuelans, Colombians, and Peruvians are flocking to Chile, huge numbers of Haitians are actually leaving. On the U.S.-Mexico border, hundreds of Haitians have discarded their Chilean ID cards as they risk their lives trying to reach U.S. shores. The question is, why would they leave Chile, the country with the highest per capita income in the region?
The treatment that Haitians receive here from Chile's current president is indecent. That's why they decide to journey to El Dorado, even if they die on the way, because they are sure they will be treated better.
The death of a young Haitian mother shook the community to the core. 2 years ago, 27-year-old Joan Florville, who did not speak Spanish, was arrested and later taken from the police station to the hospital in a coma. Her sister says that Florville had been accused of abandoning her 2-month-old baby at a municipal office, when in fact she had only left her in her stroller with a guard for a few minutes while she tried to find someone to translate for her. Samantha agreed to speak to us for the first time about what her sister told her before she died a month later, including charges that she was badly beaten by police.
That's why she cried so much. She told me the police and others treat Haitians badly here. She said they treat Haitians like dogs. But actually, that's not true, because here they treat dogs quite well.
Samantha nevertheless wants to remain in Chile to be near her deceased sister's child, who lives with her father. She adds that not all Chileans are bad, such as Roxana, her brother's girlfriend. But racism and discrimination of Haitians are widespread.
In Chile, many associate Haitians with compassion. They are seen as people who are socially degraded, defenseless, inferior in some ways. But racism isn't exclusively about the color of one's skin. Discrimination is based on class. It's poverty that makes the difference.
At a migrant assistance center in Santiago, we meet another Haitian migrant who asked not to be identified for fear of reprisals. She says the main problem isn't racism. It's the government's refusal to issue or renew working documents for most Haitians.
If you want to work, you have to have an ID card. And to have an ID card, you need to work. So if you can't get papers, how can you work? You can't live decently. That's why the majority of my friends have left the country. I have no friends left.
Approximately 90% of Haitians in Chile don't have valid residency papers, which makes them open to rampant abuse from landlords and unscrupulous employers, and ineligible for social services.
Chile's current government has become more hostile towards undocumented migrants, especially those who, for example, are working in the informal sector. Critics say that it has done little or nothing to promote social inclusion, nor to crack down on illegal exploitation of Haitians, all of which is keeping them at the bottom of the social and economic ladder in this country.
And until that changes, the majority of Haitians who came here thinking they had reached the promised land will continue to live in squalor and suffer discrimination. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
All right, thank you, Daniel. So, if we look at this map, You go from Haiti to Brazil to Chile, and then when you decide to leave Chile, you make the trek to the border of Texas. A trek that takes you from Chile up through Peru, up through Ecuador, Colombia, then into Central America, through Mexico, and then you get to the border of the United States. And then what happens when you get to the border? This happens. So tens of thousands of people that have made this trek get to the border, to the country most responsible for the recent degradation in Haiti, going all the way back to the upholding of the Duvalier regimes in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s. Responsible for the coup that overthrew Aristide in 91. Responsible for the kidnapping in 2004. Responsible for the post-2010 disaster of economic recovery in Haiti. You go to that country because this is the country that essentially has been responsible for stealing all the wealth in the past century. Actually, let's go back to 1915 when we talk about the U.S. invasion of Haiti. So you go there, and unlike the Ukrainians, unlike the Afghanis, who the U.S., or let's stick with Afghanistan. U.S. destroys that country, helps destroy that country, and then they say, all right, we messed up, Taliban's back. If you want to come, refugees, come on. Ukraine, we're against Russia, so because you're having these problems of warfare, you could come to the United States. We're open doors. But Haitians, nah. We got people on the border looking like slave catchers, making sure that you don't come into the country. And then we're going to round you up, put you on planes, and take you back to Haiti. Back to the place. So not back to Chile, not back to Brazil, but back to Haiti, where you haven't been in a while, where the elites are using the gang situation to create an unstable environment. We're going to put you back there. We might let a few of you stay, might let a few get refugee status, but the bulk of you, you're going back to Haiti. And what happens when they get back to Haiti? Many of them continue to resist. So the resistance is ongoing. We look at 2024, where we're at today. The Kenyan Supreme Court ruled yesterday that no troops from Kenya will be sent to Haiti. Now, the president is trying to get in good with the U.S. and other folks because they want to recreate what happened in post-2004. They want a foreign force that's not white to come into Haiti. That's what they thought they could do with the Brazilians and the other folks. We want a quote-unquote international force. This time, they want the Kenyan police to go to Haiti to do what the police in Haiti should be doing. And we already know whose interests are going to be doing that in. But the Supreme Court of Kenya was like, no, that's against our Constitution. Our police are for Kenya, and we got our own problems. And we're not going to be tools in this game that you're trying to play. So the Supreme Court said, no, you're not sending no troops no police to Haiti. The people are resisting. The government won't pay for infrastructure. They build their own canals to water their agriculture, to supply for the people. The people are in the streets. The people are forming workers' unions to fight in places like the Caracol Garment Industrial Complex, where people are paying $5 a day. They're fighting for workers' rights. They're fighting to unionize. They're fighting to get an actual election process that will lead to leaders that will actually represent the interests of the people. People are building political parties. They are fighting against the gangs. You had a pastor a couple of weeks ago that armed his congregants with machetes, and they were like, we need to go back to some Old Testament preaching, because he said, I'm tired of being attacked by these gangs. So he formed a militia with his parishioners, and they had machetes. But the gangs are armed by the police. And the gangs, half the time, are former police officers. They got machine guns, so it's not a fair fight. But the people are resisting to saying enough is enough. But yet, we in the diaspora, we that care about Haiti, care about the African people, we have to figure out what is it that we're going to do. Where do we go from here? How do we support? How do we figure out ways that we can take this history class? I took you all the way back to the 15th century. We looked at step by step how we got here, step by step how the Haitian people have continued their revolution. The question for us in 2024 is, how will we support the ongoing Haitian revolution? How will history look back at us 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, say, what did we do while all this was going on? And now that we know what's happening, we don't have any excuse as to why we can't be engaged. We have the technology now where we can contact people that are on the ground. What's actually going on? What's the best way that we can support? How can we use the technology to get resources, to get information back and forth in a way that's equitable, that's sustainable? How do we use the history to make sure things like this don't occur? These are pictures of Nicholas Duvalier hobnobbing in D.C. with all these big-time people. You see people in military outfits. When he stands up and talks in places like Miami, New York, very few people ask, hey, where's the money that your dad and grandfather stole that financed your lifestyle when you were living in Paris, when your father left the country? Where's the money? Why do you think you can come back to Haiti just because you can speak Creole and you act like you care about the country and you use revolutionary rhetoric? What makes you think you can come back without being held accountable for that? We have to look at things like Guy Felipe, one of the people implicated in the coup against Aristide. Then he gets caught up in drug trafficking, arrested by the U.S. while he was a senator in Haiti. He was involved in drug trafficking, one of these unelected senators, one of these senators that got barely any votes. He gets elected, but he did create among himself a following because he was a death squad leader and he's considered charismatic by people. He gets arrested, extradited. He spends, I think, 9 years in the U.S. penitentiary, and then he's extradited back to Haiti a couple of months ago, or last year. Why? Why would the United States extradite this man known for drug trafficking? No, he's not going to do any good for Haiti, but this is a playbook of the U.S. They take people like this, just like they did Charles Taylor in Liberia. They take people like this, they take them out of U.S. prisons, and they give them tasks. They go back to those countries and unstabilize things. Run for president. Run for Senate. Do this. We'll call upon you when we need you to control things so that U.S. business can keep operating as normal. There are mineral explorations going on in Haiti. Oil, gold, copper hasn't all been exhausted. So these things are happening right as we speak. Backdoor deals are being done. People are being put in place when the next elections do happen. They will be coming up probably soon. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But if you follow the news, don't be surprised if you hear that Nicholas Duvalier is running for president or Guy Felipe is running for president. Remember these names. But focus not so much on these folks who is very clear who they're behind. If you're going to spend some time doing research, you're going to spend some time contacting people, figure out who's on the ground, who's actually doing the work, who's actually promoting the interest of Haitian people, not just with rhetoric, because anybody can get on a website and say, with a fancy name, or we're the human rights advocacy group of Haiti, and we've done this and that, and this and that, and everything's in English, and it looks all pretty, and they might have some pictures. You don't know where those pictures came from. You don't know what they're actually doing. Get on WhatsApp, connect with somebody that's from Haiti, that got family there, and say, do you ever heard of this group and these people and what they're doing? 9 out of 10 times it's a no, I've never heard of them. Because what they're doing is they're taking development funds from USAID and these other groups, and they're not doing anything on the ground. That's going, if they do have somebody in Haiti, they're living in some villa somewhere. They're using that money to take weekend holidays in the tourist areas. They're going back and forth to the DR. They're not actually doing any work in Haiti. So we have to use every tactic that we can to get the most up-to-date information. And while we're in places like Canada, in the US, in France, in these places, we need to be lobbying our governments on behalf of the people of Haiti, say, you're not going to do this with our tax dollars. You're not going to do this. We're going to make this a campaign issue, not just for Haiti, but for other places in the African continent. What do you plan to do with your vote when it comes up of what's going to be done in Africa and what's going to be done in Haiti? What are you going to support? What have your policies, whether you're Democrat or Republican, what have you shown when it comes to foreign policy? We need to make that a real campaign issue if we say that we care about African people. We don't want this history to continue itself. I'm going to stop by saying this. The Haitian Revolution will succeed. The revolution of African working people will succeed. We will win. I have no doubt about that in my mind. The question is going to be for us listening to this now, those that are present in this moment in history, what side of it will we be on? Will we be on the side of African people struggling worldwide the same way our ancestors struggled in 1804, in 1791, in 1521 when they were struggling against enslavement? when they were struggling in 1915 against U.S. occupation, when they were struggling in 1946 against a puppet regime, when they struggled against the Duvaliers. What side were we on? How did we support them? Were we on the sidelines? Did we just watch and see what happened? Were we engaged? Or were we supporting people like this? Just because they had some fancy rhetoric and they look like they know what they're talking about. But you do a little deeper, the descendants of the same people that caused the problem. We have to ask ourselves that question. We have to use next month, which is Black History Month. And these are the type of conversations we had to have. It's not enough to just celebrate the achievements of our people, because we've done some great things and it's beautiful. But the history gives us projects and gives us things that are incomplete that we need to rectify. If you study African history, particularly the last 500 years, there's a lot that we need to do. And if a Black History Month presentation or a Black History Month program doesn't put you in that direction of this is what we need to do moving forward, then you've been shortchanged. So we always have to keep that in mind. Again, Haiti is an all-African revolution. We go back to the very beginning. 2/3 of the people that led to Haitian independence were born in Africa. This is an African nation. Let's not get any complications about that. And what happens in Haiti and what is happening in Haiti, we see it all over the African world. So many lessons that we can learn. We need to hold our leaders accountable. We need to hold the elite accountable. We need to make sure that what is done in the name of African people is actually being done for sustainable development of the African working masses. I want to stop there today. I want to thank you for paying attention to this seminar and engaging in this seminar. And I want to open up our discussion today with any insights that other folks might have. People might have more information about what's going on in Haiti now. People could talk about what do you think we should do for Haiti? What can we do? What are some ideas of what we can do to support the people's movement toward progress? Or I'll open up also to any questions that folks may have. Next week, actually, we'll take a break next week, and we will reconvene on the 10th. Is that the 10th? Yeah, that'll be the 10th or the 9th, whatever that Saturday is, with our next course, which is African History Part 2, from 7/11 to 1896, where we cover different things. That's an 8-week course. So the registration for that will be available. The link will be up, and the course website will be updated. So I'll stop there today, open it up for any questions, comments, and particularly comments on where do we go from here? What can we do? Daniel, anything in the chat? Any hands?
No, there's nothing in the chat.
All right, so if anybody has any hands, please raise it. Anybody? Yeah. I think this might pick it up. So we got a couple of people in the audience today, which is good. Again, everyone, you're welcome to come, 235 Montreal Road.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is it
I think it's feeding into the thing, so it's not going to be loud, but it's feeding into the, yes.
Well, my question, my name is André Louvain. I listened to you. I realized when you mentioned about the core group, to me, this group, it's like you said, it's other foreign country that get together and then they're the one who decide what's going on in Haiti. Based on your knowledge, is there anywhere else they have such a power?
Yeah, a lot of places. I mean, we can look at particular areas in West Africa, particularly France and the United States. Britain, to a less extent, Canada is kind of a junior partner in this, but they all get together and they think about ways that they can support their big business in these areas and do whatever it takes to support that, whether that's coups, whether that's military intervention. This is all over the world where they can. We're talking about regime change. We're talking about the control of economic activities, little things that we don't even think about, like during the Obama administration, they had a project called the Young African Leaders Initiative, the YALI initiative, where they would take 5 or 6 young professional Africans from all over the continent. They would bring them to D.C. and New York, wine them and dine them, and there's a reason for that. It's to say, we're the good guys, we're going to help you out. So that way, when we call upon you, when you become a senator to do what's in our interest, you'll be better. So there's a soft power to it, and then there's, of course, the hard power, the AFRICOM, where Africa trains African militaries, again, just like they did with Haiti. They learned the lessons well from Haiti. They said, instead of having an American force go into Africa, to go into Somalia, Congo, Ethiopia, or these places, we'll have African forces, and we'll train them, and we'll train their generals, so that way they'll be beholden to us. They learned that from what they did in Haiti in 1915, where they reconstructed the Haitian military. So they have this. It's been worse in Haiti because they've been able to take advantage of the disaster, and they've been doing it longer. They've been doing this since 1915. But yeah, these are the same practices that they do all over the globe. And they're now competing with China to make sure that they're able to continue these things. So yes, sir.
Another question I had, it's I realized I went to UN website and I looked for the military intervention they had in Haiti. Since 2000 and since 1993, they have so far 9 military intervention, and then none of them did get any results.
No.
So, and then I see the amount of money that was spent. It's ridiculous. It's in the billions of dollars. Is there any, this money they're spending, is there any accountable?
There's no accountability.
Okay.
There's no accountability. I mean, you think about it. When we really break down these figures, that money could have built so many schools, so many hospitals, so much infrastructure that would have created a situation so that young people were like, why would I join the gang? I can go to school. Why would I join the gang? I can get a job that actually pays a decent living. So you really think about that, and yeah, there is no accountability. And again, the UN is mostly financed by the United States. So whoever pays the piper calls the tune. So we follow the money, we follow these institutions, and I'm not castigating the entire UN because there are people in the UN that try to do good work.
Yes.
And you know, on the individual level, and a lot of their agencies, a lot of their human bodies organizations, they try to do good work. But then you got the Security Council at the top and the military apparatus, and they're like, yeah, we're going to act like we do good work, but then we're going to take you and put you in Haiti or put you in some of these other places around the world to do what we need you to do. So, yeah, it's a constant struggle. But that accountability question is key. I mean, who do you go? Who do you go to? I mean, with the UN, if the UNs have a problem. Oh yeah, Rob, go ahead.
Hey, first of all, man, thanks a lot for the entire series. That was like fantastic, as always, man. So I got a question and then a number of comments. The question I think you already answered. So would I be assuming right that nothing changed in terms of U.S. Haitian policy under Obama?
No, of course
Okay.
not. No, I mean, and I would say these were the years that it got its worst. When we talk about 2010, Obama's elected in 2008. 2010, the earthquake happens. This is when the Clinton takes over Haiti for 2 years. This is all under the Obama regime. So this is not, nothing has changed. The only thing that may have been slightly different, and I would say slightly, I don't know how the Obama administration would have handled no, I do know how the Obama administration would have handled it, because they handled it the same way they handled the immigration with folks coming from Latin America. So no, there probably wouldn't have been a difference. I was thinking there might have been a slight difference in how Obama would have handled the border situation, but now that I'm thinking about it, it might not have been much of a difference, really.
Okay. All right. So a number of comments. So the book you mentioned, that with the actual title "Disaster Capitalism," that's not the book I referenced. I actually hadn't heard of that. That book's from 2015. The one I was talking about is from 2007. It's called "The Shock Doctrine." Okay. And the subtitle is "The Rise of Disaster Capitalism" by Naomi Klein.
Oh, that's Klein's book. Okay, yeah, I've seen that one mentioned as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that this is a really interesting term I'd never heard before: the solidarity industrial complex. Oh man,
that's a good one.
That is so. That is so similar to what I mentioned, a concept of collective resistance here that we've been encountering in our work in the Hub, this kind of group of organizations that collectively resist fundamental change. And that's very similar to the solidarity industrial complex, right? And of course, black folks are right in there helping maintain the system. You said you don't know if people are gangsters who present themselves as revolutionaries. And that's like, again, in our work with the Ottawa Police Service, it's like, oh my God, by any definition, the police are a gang, first of all. But then when you hear them, talk about their efforts of equity, diversity stuff, they sound like they use the same language as revolutionaries, right? It's all about trauma-informed approach, and also right, as they're out there using force disproportionately on Black and Middle Eastern people, right? The $13 billion in aid, where is it going? We don't know. I literally got a call this week. And I like when I get these kind of calls. It's somebody who's on the inside and is seeing bad things happening, and they've heard about what. So they reach out. So this sister was like, "Man, there's all this government money going to white, like it's supposed to be for black initiatives, going to white groups, or going to the same black groups that end up again where there's no accountability for them actually doing anything to help the community. And it's the same groups over and over again. You'll see, right? So, the Red, you mentioned the Red Cross. I got a call from another sister, actually one of our partner groups in Toronto, complaining about the Red Cross's involvement with the asylum seekers in Toronto, the black African folks who ended up on the street. What you were talking about in terms of the Red Cross getting a bunch of money and not doing anything, that's exactly what she was talking about in terms of the Red Cross in terms of that issue. So right here, right in Canada. Oh yeah, okay. So I forget how you mentioned this. You're talking about consultations and how they're often, or they actually don't consult, or they're fake consultations. So another clear example of that is I've discovered that the Ottawa Police Force is going to create a use of force review panel. So a panel to review its use of force, supposedly with community members. I guarantee you that so I'm going to apply to get on it, of course. I guarantee you that one class I'll be coming to tell you, nope, I got rejected. Exactly. 'Cause I applied to get on to the city's community safety and well-being advisory committee. No. To the guiding council mental health. No. They systematically exclude critical voices, right? And the last thing is, so it's actually no, just a couple announcements, right? So everyone knows that the Black History Month opening ceremonies are today at the National Gallery. It's sold out now, but I have my tickets. I'll be giving a report next class on because I would suspect that again it's going to be it's from 2 to 4:30. It's going to be 2.5 hours of stuff where none of it makes white people too uncomfortable. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable. White people like it's okay if you make them a little uncomfortable, but nothing about fundamental change though, right? So it'll be a little bit of that, right? So I'm going to confirm that's the case because if I'm going to critique something, I should be going. Like if you're going to critique a book, right? And then I think I've mentioned that I host a monthly political panel with Rabble.ca. It's a progressive thing, right? So this month is on Wednesday, February the 21st, and on my initiative, I've said, you know what I want this one to focus on? Whiteness. So that is our topic for this Black History Month Off the Hill panel. So I'll send that around. And lastly, an update on, I've been mentioning, and I keep on mentioning this, that the Ottawa Police Service shot and killed a guy last June. Okay? What was not they didn't release the name of the person or anything. Right? What was not reported was the guy's ethnicity. What also wasn't reported was that the cops got the 911 call at 2:11 p.m. and they shot and killed the guy 3 minutes later at 2:14. So I filed a Freedom of Information request to get the guy's ethnicity, and just to give you an update on that, the police initially didn't respond. Okay, now that's their problem. So then I filed an appeal with the Information and Privacy Commissioner, and what happens there is that if they don't respond, then they're declared basically to have refused. Right? So the latest thing is that the Information and Privacy Commissioner sent them an email, a thing saying, "Oh no, you now have to respond." And the thing is, it's not just like, oh, now they get to respond late. They now cannot use privacy as an excuse not to release it, which I know that they would have tried to do originally. Say, oh yeah, for privacy reasons we can't tell you this thing. Now they can't do that. So I'll let you know what happens when I get the results.
Yeah, we'll see. Mr. Thomas, go ahead.
Afternoon all. We started out this lead session by stating that all non-white countries seeking independence should study Haiti. Neighboring Jamaica almost suffered the same catastrophes as Haiti did. We, from time to time, fail to thank Bob Marley and Michael Manley for avoiding that situation in many respects. Jamaica was not far from being in that exact position, and this is in the late 1900s, early 2000s.
That's right. That's why we have to constantly and keep updated. And watch those businesses and their connections and monitor the so-called political leaders in those countries like Jamaica, like so many other places, in order to hold them accountable to the people, and if not, understand its history and how we can organize and make sure that they are, or that they're removed from power. Because it's only through collective action, as we keep saying in Haiti, these aren't individuals, these are collectives that are going to make this change. So we can never get too comfortable as working class people, as working people, whenever we are in these countries. We have to continually be on guard. So yeah, thank you for that.
The other thing that jumps out at me is that many of us, myself included at one point, allow or agree that the Asian protests that the Asians were the Asian people were not appreciative of what was done for them.
Right.
But these are the kind of things that happen. Follow the money.
That's it.
We'll see what happens. Follow the money. Follow the IMF.
Always follow the money. That's the best thing. that's the best thing, because we'll hear these reports. $13 billion went to this place, but did the money actually get there? What does that actually mean? We have to be very, very clear about that. Other folks, other voices. I think it might get picked up on.
Yeah, Clyde, thank you for that. Even me, I'm Haitian, and today I learned some stuff, man. I'm just because I guess I'm too comfortable here. And I like the fact when you state that, the step-by-step there, we're going up, how we can bring that down. Because now we're here in Canada, in the state, everywhere else, we're building, we're doing all that work and all that. How we can put ourselves collectively and to work together and to go back down.
Yeah.
I think you're doing it, because now you're telling us the story, you're telling us what's happening. Now also we have all the newcomers coming. Before they get stuck on that, like they did to us there, to become them, and forgot about the country. But how collectively, us here in Canada, in the state, we can make a difference. And what I'm trying to find, what can be that we can work together to see how we can take ourselves back. I don't know, we will see it, but how we can let our children, to give them the tools and everything to that. Because we have the money. We have just like you said, we have the money, we have the internet, we have everything. So why we...
Yeah, we have to get together. We have to be conscious of. We have to be conscious of getting together to have the non-glamorous conversations. We're good for getting together when things are, we're good for getting together for like a cultural program, which is fun. We should always do that. Holidays and things come up, and to show the good things. It's not always about gloom and doom, but when we also need to get together to plan, to be conscious planners for our children when we're in these communities, and to say, what does our future look like when it's in our control, as opposed to having other people who they meet. I mean, one of the things that you'll see in studying history is the value of meetings, because a lot of this stuff, it's not that it happens overnight. It's planned. It's planned in the Chateau Laurier. It's planned in D.C. It's planned in New York and Miami. Folks getting together. I mean, it's unfortunate, but even the planning of the assassination of the president, there's a meeting for that. Somebody said, we don't like this direction. We want this to happen, and they're planning. So the everyday working class people, which is most of us on this call, we spend our days, and we only have so many amount of hours because we got to provide for our families, and we have to work, and we have to do these things. And then when we're done, we're so tired from giving all of our labor away, usually to somebody else, that we don't feel like we can get together and do these things. But the people that are exploiting us, they make the time to meet and to plan and to say, 20 years plan, we're going to have this, we're going to set this guy up, we're going to have him in place, and these people in place. We're going to do this. And we have to make some time to do that. We have to make some time to get to, and we have some advantages being in the diaspora. Like you said, We got access to money and things that other folks don't have. We have access to a semi-free civil society. I'll say semi-free because, like as Robin is alluding to, sometimes when we get together, that makes people nervous. So then you get people that come in and disrupt things. But the chances of me leaving this talk right today and getting assassinated or something happening to my family is very limited. Unlike other places where if you're right in the middle of it, just talking about these things can get you assassinated. So we have these advantages, but we have to take more advantage of them. And as they said in the biblical text, we can never forget Zion. You know, that was always the cry of, and I'm not trying to talk about the current modern day Zionists, there's a whole racist movement, I'm not talking about that, but just this idea of you don't forget where you come from and you're constantly thinking about ways to build back where you were and build for the future. We live in this time now, where we can get information like that. We can travel back and forth easier. We have young people with the energy and the imagination. This is the other thing that I've been preaching and talking about for as long as I can remember. We have to imagine a world different than what it is. And young people can do that, but even older people can do that. We have to start there. We have to see that Haiti, as it is, can be transformed into something that actually serves its people, but we can't have it done without first having that vision of what it could be, and a vision that's a sustainable vision that people that are on the ground can contribute to and can give the direction for, and that we can all work toward that. So we gotta unlock that. We have to get rid of this mindset that things are the way they are, and these forces that are against us, they're too powerful, they're never gonna change, we're never gonna be able to fight against that. We gotta get rid of that. Because those folks that are holding us down, they have imaginations. Somebody looked at that agricultural area in Haiti and said, this would be a good place for a big industrial complex where we can exploit Haitian people. Somebody had that idea, they had the resources and the connections to make that happen. The same way they could have that idea, we can have the idea, that place would look good in rubble tore down and the agriculture back in place. Now, how do we make that a possibility? But too many of us get into the situation of, this was done to us. Well, what can we do? We might as well just try to live our lives best we can. No, we can imagine a world different. And we can fight for that world. And we can build for that world. And we can train our children to use their talents to build for that world that we want. But we just have to do it. We have to use these lessons of history to figure out how can we do it most efficiently? How can we not fall into the traps that so many folks fell into? How can we recreate the successes that our ancestors did in the new time with the new tools that we have now? So we could do it, and I'm confident that we will. I wouldn't be doing this work and having these classes if I thought that it was fruitless. I could have a much more lucrative life selling out. But I know that's not a path to victory. The path to victory for our people, I see it, I know it's gonna be there, and I wanna be on that right side of it. So we can do it, and we will do it. And these are the type of spaces that we can create for ourselves in order to plan, in order to develop that idea and to move on it. So I'm incredibly confident and optimistic about that. Robert, you want to have something?
Actually, just one other couple other comments. One is, so my wife and I went to see a movie last night called Origin, which is about it's a story of the author, a black woman, Isabel Wilkerson, writing the book Caste: The Origins of Our Discontent, where she basically makes the argument that all these exploitative systems, that it's not about race, let's say, because she's in the U.S., right? It's about caste, right? Now so just the movie is amazing, the thing, that just that idea, and she looks basically at the black folks in the States, Dalits in India, right, and the Holocaust, Jewish Holocaust, right. One of the things I learned from that movie that I didn't know is that the Nazis based what they did to the Jews on how the U.S. was treating black people. They actually had a meeting where they sat down and looked at it and went, yeah, there's something we can use there. Right. So I did not know that. I got to admit. Right? So that's one thing. So I highly recommend going to see that. The other thing is, If anybody know, I recently, just today in fact, while I was listening to Block on Block on the way in, as I often do, and I heard that the African Canadian Association of Ottawa is having its annual gala, cultural gala, which you say, we do those kind of things. And apparently all the money is going to their affordable housing initiative, which I'd never heard of. So if anybody knows anything about that, please contact me and let me know.
All right. All right. Anything else before we close out? And again, next week we won't have a session. We will meet again on what's today? Today's what's the next week? Is that the 3rd or the 2nd? It's the 3rd. It's the 3rd. So we'll meet again on the 10th. We'll meet again on the 10th. So look out for the email for the next class registration. In the meantime, I encourage everyone to go to the course website. Many of the books that I mentioned, Disaster Capitalism, that will be on there if you want to read it. That book deals with other places other than just Haiti, but it talks about these things. The videos that we played will be there. I know, Daniel, I had 2 other videos, but we're not going to play those today. There's no need to play those today. We won't play them. And yeah, I encourage everybody to do the readings, keep up with the information that's coming out of Haiti. Again, there's going to be a lot of movement over the next couple of months going into the end of the year because elections will be planned and we'll see how those go and pay attention to the movements of people as that happens. So we'll get ready for our next course. Thank you all for your participation and we'll talk soon. Everyone enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir. No, thank you.
You know your stuff.
Driving wild inebriated. Okay.